Friede is alive, a secret Lycanroc form, the new Explorers admins, and the rising Volt Tacklers are finally reunited. Pokemon Horizons Mega Voltage is going absolutely crazy, so let's talk about it. Here's my reaction to and review for Pokemon Horizons episode 97. Dot is finally back in person, not behind the computer, and we start this episode off with her visiting Ino to talk about some serious business. Although before that, I really love getting to see Dot so interested in Ino's stream setup, as well as getting to see the stream setup. It was really cool. But anyway, Ino has some interesting footage to share with Dot. It's of some Pokemon getting attacked by something that's moving insanely fast. And just like everyone expected, it's a Stunfisk? Well, believe it or not, it's affected by Lockweum, so Dot and her Pokemon go to investigate while Ino starts her stream. I really like the sort of detective noir aesthetic they create with the soundtrack and dialogue while Dot tries to track down the Stunfisk. Even if it's still in full color, it made this segment really interesting to follow. Which leads to Dot discovering the Stunfisk in a puddle of mud and following it where we run into a guy dressed in a Stunfisk suit. Turns out this guy is a Stunfisk themed content creator who goes around swiftly hitting trainers' Pokemon to take pictures of their surprised faces. But the reason this Stunfisk can move so uncharacteristically fast is because he received a PR package from Exceed containing Strong Spheres. We also discover that he's a huge fan of Ino because he pretty quickly recognizes Dot from the streamed battle between her and Ino during the Terastal debut arc. So just 4 episodes after we meet a crazed Nidothing fanatic, now we meet a crazed Ino fanatic because he challenges Dot to a battle in hopes that he can get Ino's attention by defeating her. That basically had no chance of happening though because Dot absolutely destroys him, so it's nice to see that she's still a capable trainer. Of course, this prompts the Stunfisk guy to use his Strong Sphere on the Stunfisk, so it goes Super Saiyan and turns the tables against Quaxwell, easily defeating it. This gives Dot's Tinkatuff some time to shine, and this is really the first chance we've gotten since its evolution episode to see it in action, so I was so hyped. It's amazing to see Dot's strategic prowess in action. Tinkatuff even learns Metal Claw here, and we get to reveal that it's a Terra Steel type. Side note, this was a great demonstration of what Dot learned back in the Terra training course because she terastallizes at the perfect time. This was a back and forth battle, and I like seeing Stunfisk's trainer come to the realization that throughout the battle, the Lockweum from the Strong Sphere is negatively affecting his Pokemon. This time skip really continues to show us the devastating effects of Lockweum, and it's just unexpectedly dark for a Pokemon series, not gonna lie. But it also really makes me want to see them stop Exceed. I guess the only complaint I have is that if Ino told this specific trainer to stop using the Strong Sphere, why doesn't she use her huge platform with probably millions of followers to talk bad about Exceed and this product even more? Same with Dot now that I think about it. But regardless, this was a solid episode. Really nice to see Dot back out in the field again. It's really fitting that her original first time out in the field was in Levincia, and now post Timeskip they do the same thing. Very poetic. What did you think about this episode? Here's my reaction to and review for Pokemon Horizons episode 98. This episode opens up with Dot finally arriving at Cortando to meet up with Roy, Liko, and Ult, who all agreed to meet there to discuss with Murdock about the next steps. For context, Murdock has been working with Katie at her bakery ever since the Rising Volt Tacklers split up a year ago. Seeing Murdock reunite with Dot after so long was really wholesome, not gonna lie, and we quickly get the reunion between our 3 travelers, Dot, Murdock, and also Katie. This quickly leads into a scene where the protagonists are all having some desserts, and Ult, Tinkatuff, Kilowattrel, and Crocolore are all begging Alchemy for some whipped cream, which is funny in and of itself, but then Cap scolds them all like a parent and makes them each wait their turn. I don't know, I just thought it was really funny. Even Pagogo got to join in on the fun. This was just a cute scene altogether, and Katie getting to meet Roy and Liko's Pokemon that she hadn't seen before, like Cap and Pagogo, really demonstrated that it's been an entire year. On that note, we also get the reveal that Murdock's Rockruff finally evolved into a fat Lycanroc. Okay, this is actually insanely cute, not gonna lie. Apparently it evolved by eating a ton of sweets that Murdock made, so this could technically be considered a new Lycanroc form. Then there's more antics with Ult being afraid of girls. Honestly, I'd probably be acting like him if Katie served me a drink too. But learning he thought Dot was a boy over the phone this entire time was hilarious. That being said, the real meat of this episode starts with the conversations between everyone involving the Explorers and the Strong Spheres. Liko, Roy, and Dot end up giving the entire story story to Murdock, and by extension Katie because she's still here, but Murdock just feels really anxious about it. Liko ends up saying that he doesn't need to worry because they've all gotten much stronger since before, which prompts Katie to suggest they have a battle to prove that to Murdock. And we learn that Katie's Teddiursa has evolved into Ursaring, so this battle is going to be exciting. There's just one issue. Katie picks Pagogo to be her opponent, who's never really had an official battle like this, and you can tell at the beginning where Pagogo can't really get much done offensively and is relying on Protect a lot. But it and Liko turn that around pretty quickly with some sharp tactics, which involves stalling out Ursaring a bit so Liko can land a devastating Terra Cluster attack to win the battle. Now, normally I'd be really annoyed with a Pokemon relatively easily beating a powerful gym leader like this, but there's a couple reasons I'm not. Number 1, we do see Liko struggle a bit in the beginning, and Ursaring was holding its own. But number 2, there was virtually no chance for Katie to win here. The writers aren't going to make a powerful legendary Pokemon lose like that. And also, like I just said, it's a legendary Pokemon. It's inherently more powerful. After the battle, Murdock immediately approves of Liko's resolve and her battling skills, which leads to the group mentioning they need a ship, the Brave Olivine. But we learned from Murdock that after they all disbanded, Orla said she was going to dismantle it. Instead of being sad about that though, the protagonists all decide they're going to track her down and have her build them a new one. So now we have a new temporary goal for the series, and I'm happy the gang is all back together. Here's my reaction to and review for Pokemon Horizons episode 99. This episode opens up with Liko, Roy, Dot, and Ult arriving in the Galar region with the purpose of finding Orla, who has been working at the Pokeball factory during the past year. That's right, in this episode we get the return of this random filler character from early in the series, Karna, and I honestly really like how Horizons has been paying attention to these filler characters so far. Anyway, the gang quickly arrives, and I just love the reunion between them and Orla. Seeing Orla point out how much they've grown and changed during their time apart was really wholesome. Orla and Karna quickly invite them all in for tea before Ult reads the viewer's mind and yells at them to just get to the point. Okay, thank you Ult, because I do like how we get straight into business here, unlike last episode where we had a desserts break beforehand. So Roy reveals to Orla that they've reformed the Rising Volt Tacklers and asks her to build them an airship. This reminds Orla of Friede. She even sees a little bit of him in Roy, which I thought was really sweet, but it resurfaces memories of the traumatic loss of Friede, which causes Orla to decline the request and storm off. After this, Cap suddenly runs off and tells everyone to follow him, which leads to the discovery of the Brave Olivine, still perfectly intact. Turns out Orla never actually dismantled it like she told Murdock she would, and instead has been keeping maintenance on it the entire time. I actually ended up getting a little teary in this moment because we got the reveal that all the Pokemon that were living there are still on it, so that reunion was amazing. The next day, Karna tells Orla that she should at least hear them out, which leads to a really interesting conversation where Orla thanks Karna for letting her work at the factory, because it has helped distract her from the unnecessary things in her mind, those being her feelings about what happened to Friede. You can just really tell in this episode how much the events of 1 year ago has really ate at Orla, as her and Friede were the original Rising Volt Tacklers, so the thought of starting a new adventure kind of triggers that trauma in Orla's mind, and that's shown off beautifully when she lashes out at Liko, Roy, and Dot. I thought this scene was awesome. These three really helped Orla externalize all her heartbreak about the situation that she'd been holding inside all this time. But Liko and Roy then go on to say that by reforming the Rising Volt Tacklers and setting out to stop the Explorers and the Loquium, Friede is still with them, because that's exactly how he would have gone about it. This scene was so beautiful, man, and it's the second time in this episode that I let out a few tears. In the middle of all this, they hear a loud explosion coming from the factory, so they rush back when they see two strange people being confronted by Ult. This is where we get the realization that Karna has unknowingly been producing strong spheres, at least the exteriors, and we get the reveal of two new Explorers admins before the episode ends on a cliffhanger. This might just be my favorite episode of the Timeskip so far. Here's my reaction to and review for Pokemon Horizons episode 100. I thought last episode was my favorite Timeskip episode so far, but this episode just one-upped it already. It picks up right back where we left off last time, with our heroes fighting against these newly introduced Explorers admins, and we immediately get started with the Tauruses pretty easily overwhelming the protagonists. One of these is not like the other, by the way. But anyway, with that in mind, this battle actually doesn't last as long as you might think it would, and it's not because the Explorers easily destroy Liko, Roy, Dot, and Ult, it's actually because of Dot. You can really tell she's back in the group because of her tactical prowess. She very quickly discerns that because of the Loquium, the Tauros can't actually understand complex instruction from their trainers and are just instinctively attacking the Pokemon they have the advantage against. So Crocolore and Meowscarada allow the Tauros to charge at them and then quickly switch positions, which causes them to stumble over themselves and be wide open for the attack that takes them out. This was an amazing strategy from Dot and makes me even happier that she's she's back with the group. But I'm really glad they didn't spend too much time on the battle, because basically everything that happens following this scene is just amazing. So right after the battle, Orla ends up expressing that Friede wouldn't have just stopped fighting like she has. He would still be trying to stop the Lockweum, and because of that, she decides that she wants to rejoin the Rising Volt Tacklers and fly the ship again. Man, this scene was so beautiful, the soundtrack was perfect, and the lighting was really awesome. We even get such a sweet little symbolic scene of Orla's Ella kid handing her her wrench. So she says she needs 3 days to spruce up the ship, and during that time we get a really awesome compilation of Orla working on the ship, Liko cleaning up, Roy gathering groceries and supplies, Dot setting up the tech side of things, and even Ult was out there feeding the Pokemon. He's really becoming a great character, I can't lie. But everyone was working together to get the ship back off the ground, and it was just really wholesome. Once they're finished with that, we get the reveal that Orla actually got into contact with Mollie and Murdock, and they're officially rejoining the Rising Volt Tacklers. We already know Friede is MIA, so now we have everyone here except, where's Ludlow? Oh, he's here now. Anyway, after this, we get an amazing scene of everyone pouring into Roy, thanking him for bringing everyone back together, because realistically, he did that by taking that first step to meet up with Liko. Can I just say, I love Ult's antics of saying he should be the captain, and then Roy telling him that they already have one in Captain Pikachu. We get an amazing reveal towards the end of the episode, as Dot gets the Rising Volt Tacklers app back up and running, and they receive an encrypted message, and it turns out it's from Friede? Apparently he's been under surveillance by the explorers and couldn't reach out until now. Man, everyone's reaction, specifically Orla's, to this reveal was amazing, and I definitely teared up quite a bit. I knew he wasn't dead, but it's just so great to have confirmation that the GOAT is alive. Amazing set of episodes. Keep cooking, Pokemon Horizons.